Hello and welcome to a very special episode of UK Boating. Tonight we're taking a look back at 2011 and revisiting some of our favourite places, people and stories. I'll even be showing you just what happens when things don't quite go according to plan. Stay tuned for the blooper reel. But first, let's hark back to August with our very first episode of the new UK Boating and our visit to a charity very close to my heart, the Bruce Trust.
I believe that we found out about the Bruce Trust through my boss looking up on the internet. We needed an idea for a holiday for severely disabled people, and we didn't want to go overseas because I wanted to take some people on holiday who had complex needs. So I wanted to stay in the UK, and we looked up ideas and found a barge holiday, and then just leapt at the chance, really.
It was it's very nice, thank you. It's the very first boat I've been on.
So far we found liaising with Bruce Trust absolutely brilliant, to be honest. We booked, the team have just been really helpful, and also one other member of staff and I came on a training weekend, which was brilliant because it was a full weekend, and that gave us the confidence then to be able to bring some people that we're going to be responsible for.
To see daylight.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's quite bright daylight.
Yes.
Brakes off and I'll bring you backwards.
The freedom to move up and down the canal, and the ability to take perhaps hold on to the tiller, and they're just having a good holiday.
Yeah.
Lovely. And then are you able to reach the tiller from there, Leon? How's that? Is that all right? Fantastic. Right, Captain Leon, you've had your go at the tiller, but do you fancy having a go at the remote steering, which might make it slightly easier for you? Yeah, you're happy to give that a go?
Yeah.
All right. How's that? Okay? Is that steady enough for you?
Yes, thank you.
All right, so if you grab the joystick, turn it left to go left and right to go right, and you're capting away.
Yeah, it's nice to have a responsible job you can do.
We are hoping that this week will do two things mainly for us. The people that we've brought with us predominantly live at home with mum and dad, so it will give the family a bit of a break, and also it will give them a holiday experience, which they often don't get.
Now from Berkshire to Wiltshire, where I hitched a ride down the impressive Hatton Flight. Luckily, it wasn't all down to me to get us through the 21 locks. I'm here at the Hatton Flight, which is a magnificent feat of engineering with 21 locks built in just under 2 miles. It's not just any boater that will undertake cruising through these 21 locks. It really does test your skill set and your stamina levels, and it's probably why it was nicknamed in the past the Stairway to Heaven. It's believed this nickname came about because of the sheer relief for the boaters when they got to the top and could take a break very close to where they got their wages.
The Hatton Flight is on a stretch of waterway that's part of the Grand Union Canal. This was opened in 1799, but was then called the Warwick and Birmingham Canal, and was built to transport locally mined coal to the power stations and factories of the Black Country. But what about today's cruising? Well, Rebecca jumped aboard a narrowboat climbing the flight and spoke to skipper Neil Wilson to see how he's finding the challenge of navigating the revered flight of 21 locks.
First day we did the Hatton Lock,
Did
and
you?
it was like...
But you wondered what you'd let yourselves in for?
Yeah, we did.
So how have you worked out sort of team-wise who does?
Well, we've tried to do everybody have a bit of everything really, just
Yeah.
to sort of make it feel like everybody's doing something different.
And has everyone been up for it? They've all given it a go?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. No, it's been good.
Good stuff. So how many hours did it take you? Did you time yourselves going up?
It was quite late in the day, and obviously it was the first time that we'd ever done a lock. We did team up with another boat, but it did take us probably the best part of 4.5 hours.
And that's not bad though.
So
sounds about average time, I think, for
yeah,
these,
this
flight.
When we got to the top, it was absolutely chucking down with rain. So it was a relief to get to the last lock at 8:10.
Yeah. Has it been dry the rest of your holiday, or is it only...
Apart from today, yeah.
So it just rains when you go up and down the flight?
Yeah, it just seems to be it, yeah.
UK boating hasn't been afraid to get a little technical over 2011 either. Thanks to the expertise of Charles Sterling and Andy Harris, we were able to learn about all things electrical. Thinking caps on as we revisit their pearls of wisdom.
This is an alternator test bench used for obviously testing alternators. On the test bench at the moment we have a 90 amp Bosch alternator, and here we have a 200 amp alternator. Now as you can see, these two alternators are the same size, but obviously the question is, well, why is this one only producing 90 amps while this one is producing 200 amps?
Amorphous panels are the cheapest kind of solar panel, but they're also by far the least efficient. A 100 watt amorphous panel is going to be 2 or even 3 times the size of a crystalline panel, and that makes them really pretty impractical for anything other than those little lights you put in your garden, calculators, and this sort of thing, which is designed to keep your battery topped up in your car.
Traction batteries and starter batteries, and the two cannot be mixed. You cannot have cold cranking and deep cycling. People always say this is my opinion. It's not my opinion. We're an engineering company. We do the tests here regularly. We destroy batteries on a regular basis. Plus the proof is on the battery. If you look at your battery and you see CC or cold cranking, it's a starter battery.
When you're actually setting the dish up, it's essential that it's pointed precisely at the satellite. A degree out, up or down, left or right, you'll get a blank screen. As the satellite is approximately 22,236 miles away, this could be tricky, but fortunately we have a device like this, a sat finder, which helps us to actually locate the satellite signal quickly and easily.
From this alternator at present, we are producing 13.8 amps. Now, if you do a 5-hour journey, that's only going to be about 75 amps charging. However, by simply adding an enhanced charging system, the same alternator is now producing 108 amps. So that is an increase well in excess of 500%.
Journeying back inland, one of the most fascinating stories we covered was the vital restoration of a 200-year-old national treasure, the Iron Trunk Aqueduct on the Buckinghamshire stretch of the Grand Union Canal.
The canal came through here in 1805, and originally it had a flight of locks down to the river here and back up the other side. That, of course, was very wasteful of water and could take anything up to an hour and a half to get through. So the canal company commissioned an engineer to build an aqueduct. That was opened in 1805, but unfortunately fell down 3 years later in 1808. The canal company sued successfully the engineer for the loss of trade, but while they were doing that, they were busy designing a replacement aqueduct, the one you can see behind me today. That was opened on the 21st of January 1811, so now we're celebrating the 200th anniversary.
Thousands of people submitted applications through the People's Jubilee Millions scheme. British Waterways would give us the technical detail that was required to actually do the works, and then along with the local support from schools, community groups, local councils, we were able to submit the application and actually win the money, which is fantastic.
So it's a major project which splits down into 3 elements. The first is the removal of a redundant gas main, which is very unsightly and will open up the views of the Iron Trunk and make it look absolutely fabulous. The second is to do some leak reduction work by British Waterways so that the canal is more watertight for the future. And the third is, which I think is the most exciting, which is the refurbishment work. We've done analysis of the paint so that we know what type of paint we can use to repaint the colours to bring it back as good as new. We're looking at replacing some faded and dated interpretation boards, and we're working very closely with the local community to get that information, to work with them, to get them to enjoy and love it, and then we'll have a big celebration at the end. So we've got a water intake here, which is used by the engineers for pumping water from the river up to the canal. We're going to deck that over to make what I think is a wonderful viewing platform. It's a great place to be able to see the Iron Trunk Aqueduct in all its glory and to watch the boats going over the top. The plans also include not just the major work, but some of the smaller elements, which I think add to the character of it. Here there is the remains of a historic engine which used to power a pump which moved the water from the river below up to the canal above. We'd like to clear away the corrugated iron from around that, clean it and repaint it and put some interpretation, a little notice by the side, so that people see what that was as well.
Boating in Britain would be nothing without all the wonderful characters who live and work on the waterways. Every episode, we've made sure to visit a marina, not only to see what they have to offer, but to come face to face and talk with real-life boaters like you and me. Here's a collection of some of the lovely people we've met and talked to.
We were coming through like white torrid, wasn't it?
Like whitewater rafting rather than cruising.
And everything was flooded, all the banks was flooded, and the locks, we went through 2 locks where they just opened the doors, and the levels were the same both sides.
The marina's a very pretty marina. It's nice and quiet, apart from the trains, as you can hear in the background. You get.
So I've heard a bit of plane noise while we've been here.
Yes.
Is that a problem for you or not?
To be honest, you get used to it. You do get used to it. You just have to pause. They call it the galleon's pause.
Because we're so near Slimbridge down the road, we get a lot of escapees in the way of strange and wonderful ducks.
On the boat with us we've got 2 dogs, which are very much part of the family, because in Portugal we couldn't have dogs. And we've had them since puppies, very welcome, there's lots of dogs here, good facilities.
And all the neighbours are nice, and even people in the flats opposite, they all wave and say good morning to you. It's really nice.
Brilliant.
I've never known so many people in such a short space of time, to be honest with you.
My wife ended up in the canal back a few weeks ago, so someone jumped along to help us. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, we went off last year, didn't we? And Lee, as we were pulling away to go through the lock, Lee ran out with a bottle of champagne for us. Lovely, have a lovely holiday.
Yeah,
I mean,
personal touches.
It's a great life, you know, because everybody knows everything about everybody, which is handy, because if I've got to, I don't know, go out for the day, I know my boat is safe here. I know we don't lock our doors even.
Because boat shoulders are not that big.
Oh, don't I know it? Yeah, absolutely. It'd be nice to stretch out occasionally. Yeah, I know the feeling.
Takeaway out there, very, very handy.
Actually, yeah, for a lazy evening, that's just what you want. Brilliant.
Yes.
And I've never been so happy in years, because I can now retire and I don't have to worry about it anymore. And we don't owe Mr. Mortgage Man anything either.
It's very cheap here. I think it must be the cheapest.
Don't want to say that too loud.
No, because he put it up.
Yeah.
No, it's really dear here.
Join us after the break for more 2011 UK boating highlights, the dreaded blooper reel, and of course our prize draw.